It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another video of the trailer breakdown for Season 2 of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Book of Carol. This is of course the trailer that they released as part of San Diego Comic-Con. There's lots of cool details in here that I do want to talk about. We have Cordon becoming Governor 2.0 it seems, which is super interesting. And we have a hint that we're going to see a Runners Horde, which is very, very interesting. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with this breakdown. Before we dive into today's video, I've got some exciting news to share with you. We've just launched brand new merch in our store. If you love the breakdowns and discussions we have here, you're going to love these designs. We've got You're About to Enter the Breakdown Zone, perfect for all you hardcore fans, Breakdown Playground, for those who enjoy diving deep into our content, and Listen, Think, Repeat, to keep you inspired. And of course, our OG design, the good, the bad, and the ugly is in Walking Dead style is back by popular demand. So head over to SuperVideos Entertainment Store, check out the new swag, and show your support. The link is in the description. Now let's get into today's video. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. The trailer starts with this shot of Daryl Dixon holding a guitar. We have Daryl going back to what I'm assuming is the same place that we saw in Season 1. Of course, we have him talking to that person. I don't know her name, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. She says, "Daryl Dixon, I heard you were dead." So they thought that Daryl died because he was attacked by the variants, but of course he survived. We have him responding with, "Oh yeah," in a sarcastic way. And then we have this shot of Daryl using his Morning Star weapon to kill the walkers, which is super cool. Now, one detail that you do need to keep in mind is that he's trying to get to this vehicle. This vehicle is an important vehicle because we see him inside that vehicle in a different shot, and then in the same trailer we see him attacked when he's in that vehicle, and it seems like someone is shooting at him and everything. And as you see, there's blood all over. So he killed the walkers, that's why there's blood. He got into the vehicle and someone attacked. Now, why did he get to the vehicle? I think this is the same place where Carol is at, because in the previous promotional pictures that we saw Carol in some sort of vehicle and there was blood all over the windows. And I think that this is Daryl going to the car to save Carol. So I think Carol and Daryl are together in this particular vehicle. Now, I don't know whether this is their first reunion scene or not. I doubt it, but it could be. We have this shot of the nest, which is the primary location for the second season. We have Isabel and Daryl talking. Daryl says, "I don't know if this is the place I'm supposed to be." I can answer that for him. It's not. Get your ass back to America to reunite with Rick and the others. But they're not going to do that. Who knows why? And then Isabel says there is a word in French, débile, like a nice change of scenery. So they're just talking back and forth. Not much to really break down. They're just talking about Daryl being conflicted in staying and helping or going back and all of that. We have Isabel saying makes you look at things a different way. And then Daryl comes up with a word in French. I don't know if it's paysan or maison or whatever. I couldn't get the proper subtitles to hear exactly what he's saying, but he's saying a word in French. And then we have this shot of Carol on Daryl's motorbike. We have her here as well. She says, "I'm looking for a friend of mine. Please help me." So she's pleading for help to find Daryl. Now, one thing, Carol saying, "I'm looking for my friend," has become cringy at this point. Like, stop doing that. There's another one in the trailer where it's super cringy. This one's fine, but there's another one which is like super, super cringy. I almost threw up in my mouth when I heard it. And then we have this shot of Carol looking at a map. Obviously, she's trying to figure out where Daryl might have gone. And she finds France. So I'm assuming that there was some hint that this is where he went. She's going to go to Europe to try to find him. And then we have this shot of Carol and a new character. I think his name is Ash. I will get royalties from AMC for naming their character after me. Don't you worry about that. I'm just kidding, but He's a new character that they're introducing, and it seems like he's the one that's gonna help Carol get to Europe. We have the two of them here. Don't get too attached to Ash, because he will get killed. We know that because in the picture that they released, which was one of the first promotional pictures that they released, with Carol in the car with blood all over the car on the outside, we did see in the rear view mirror Ash's body. So we know that he's dead. So don't get too attached to him. And then we have this shot, this pretty creepy shot of the woods with the Walker Horde. We have the fog there too, which is making it even more creepier. We have this shot of Ash in the same type of environment. So it looks like they're going to have to fight a horde of walkers there. We have one of them here. And then we have Ash in that vehicle that I think is the same one where Carol is going to be in, where it's going to be surrounded by walkers and Daryl is going to come save her and everything. But he says, we're talking about flying a plane across the ocean. So it looks like they're going to actually fly this type of plane across the ocean from the United States to Europe, which is unrealistic, to be completely honest with you. Like, it's a little bit of a stretch. Let's just say that. I hope they explain it well. I'm glad that it's at least different than how Daryl got there, but it's still not good because the Daryl thing was more realistic. Like the boat getting him to France was more realistic than the plane getting Carol to France. Anyway, we have this shot of Carol trying to get to that same plane, killing the walkers that are there. One of them gets killed by the plane's blade, I'm assuming. We have Carol and Ash in that plane. And then we have the plane taking off and basically flying towards Europe. So it looks like the two of them do end up getting to Europe safely. It's just that Carol is going to be the only one that survives. We have in the voiceover Ash saying no idea what's waiting on the other side. So he's questioning whether this is a good idea or not. We have this other shot of the nest. Daryl here talking to Laurent. He says, Isabel and I were talking about the three of us going back to America. So it looks like their plan is to go back. But obviously we know that the third season is going to be them in Spain. So they don't go back. We'll have to wait to see why. We have this shot of Daryl playing baseball with Laurent and Isabel. Not much to break down there. And then we have this shot of the leader of the nest saying we'll do everything we can with caution. So it looks like he's offering help, reinforcement and everything, but he's going to be cautious as well. We have Daryl and some others shooting at some people. I'm assuming that this is where they're attacking someone or they're being attacked. We have them throwing someone off the roof here. And then we have this cool shot of Cordon. He has an eye patch. He has a rifle. He looks like the governor, which is super interesting. I am interested to see whether he switches sides or not. It looks like he does in the second season, but we're going to have to wait and see. But one thing to keep a note of is the plane in the background. It looks like it's the same plane that Carol was in, which is interesting. And then we have Cordon blowing up a car. And then we have this shot of Daryl. He's surrounded by people, and it looks like he gets captured once again by Madame Genet. Because in a later scene, we do see him getting hit in the face with something. It looks like he's in a jail cell of some sort. And then Madame Genet here with two of her guards in the background. She says, I wouldn't worry so much about the future. You don't have long. So basically threatening Daryl and saying that you're going to die fairly soon. And then we have Daryl here. He's not doing too good. His hands are tied. This shot of the plane as well, traveling to Europe. We have it landing. Carol and Ash getting out of the plane. We have them saying we have work to do. And then as Carol steps out, she's attacked by a walker. We know Carol is not going to die here. Of course, it's going to be Ash who's going to save her, which is cool. And then we have this shot of some walkers. And then this shot of, I'm assuming the same person we saw earlier, Isabel's ex's new girl, whatever her name is. I forgot her name. But it looks like she's either bit or shot or stabbed or something. Or it could be blood from someone else. But there's definitely something going down where she is. We have this cool shot of the Louvre Museum in France, a post-apocalyptic version of it. And we have a cool shot of the Mona Lisa painting being hung up on the wall in the bunkers that they have in France. Pretty cool. And then we have this shot of some walkers, and then Cordon. It looks like his hands are tied, like he's been captured. Maybe he's captured by Madame Genet again. And then we have this shot of a horde of walkers going towards this building. Now, they're not a regular horde of walkers, they're actually runners, which is super interesting. I'm not a huge fan of the variants and the runners and all of that. I don't think that fits The Walking Dead, but they're doing it. It is what it is. I'm intrigued though to see what they're going to do with the runners. This is what most fans have been waiting for or asking for, so they're definitely going to do it in the second season, which is cool. We have this shot of some new character here, and it appears that he's stuck in the same jail cell as Daryl. There's a walker on the other side of the cell as well. And then we can see his hands are bound to the wall so he can't go anywhere. And we can see that the kid who's there has some key. I don't know if the same key to let Daryl free or not, but it could be. Daryl here killing a couple walkers and possibly some members of Janae's army. We have Carol here with a sniper rifle, which is cool, and she's basically searching for Daryl. In the voiceover, Carol saying, "Would you do whatever it took to find him?" This is interesting. I don't know who she's talking to. Are they talking about finding Rick or something? Like, is she talking to Daryl about Rick? Or is this something different? And then we have this shot of Carol looking at what I'm assuming are members of Janae's army walking towards a building. We have some walkers here. We have Daryl and Laurent. They're near the nest and they're killing walkers. We have Daryl and Isabel looking at the nest from a distance. Daryl says, "We keep going. That's what we're doing." We see the two of them again here. We have this shot of Daryl going into some sort of bunker or tunnel. It looks like the environment is toxic, like there's toxins in the air. I don't know if it's radiation or smoke or what it is, but the walkers that are there look super weird. And it looks like there's some type of liquid or something that's poisonous there as well. Like these could be new types of variants, which is super interesting. We see Daryl trying to kill a couple of them here, and then we have this cool shot of Daryl and Janae. We have Janae being injured because she's holding her shoulder, and then Daryl points the rifle right at her face. I don't know if he's gonna kill her or not. I doubt it. But Janae says, "Here you are. I should have known." So it looks like she's saying that I should have known that you weren't dead or something along those lines. And then as Daryl is about to shoot, there's an explosion going off behind him. So someone is there to save Janae. We have this shot of a post-apocalyptic Paris. Pretty cool shot, not much to break down. And then we have Carol here, and Daryl in the background says, "I keep thinking about all the people I left behind." He's really talking about Carol here. And then we have this shot of Daryl fighting another member of Janae's army. We have this shot of what appears to be someone on a motorbike, like a mountain bike, which is interesting. And then this shot of Carol with Daryl's crossbow. She's in the same type of camp site or location where Daryl was captured from, like where he disappeared. And this, I'm assuming, is related to the very end of the first season, where she was basically asking to find Daryl. This is, of course, back in America. She says, "Where is my friend?" This is the one I said was super cringy. Like, who says that? You're not 5 years old. Come on. What are we doing here? Like, this is a little cringy to me. Anyway, we have this shot of Falou, I think that's his name, pointing a rifle right at Cordon's head. I'm assuming that they think he's there to get them, but he's really there to save them or help them or something along those lines. We have this shot of Isabel with a gun. This looks like a flashback, but I could be wrong. We have this shot of Isabel and Laurent near the nest. Daryl says they're still thinking about making it. I don't know who he's talking about or what this relates to, but this is super interesting. We have this shot of Carol looking at a walker coming out of a barn. Obviously, this is supposed to be a callback, Easter egg, whatever you want to call it, to Sophia coming out of the barn. Looks pretty cool. Cool callback, cool reference. And this is obviously because they want to bring back some of those emotional moments from the previous seasons. But then we have this shot of some sort of an explosion going off. This is the same place where all the runners were. So I'm assuming that there's something happening. Maybe they're blowing the place up to kill all the walkers that are in there or something along those lines. We have this shot of Daryl and some others. They're shooting at someone. I'm assuming they're shooting at Janae's people. We have this car crashing. I think this is the car Madame Janae is actually inside of. They released a sneak peek where we actually see Daryl shooting towards the vehicle where Janae is in. So I'm assuming that's this car, but I could be wrong. We have this shot of Daryl about to kill someone. I don't know who it is. I don't think it's Janae, but it could be. And then the trailer ends with this shot of Daryl standing there, and then we have Carol walking up towards him. They are trying to make it seem like this is where they reunite, but I don't think it is. Like, Carol is walking up way too casually for this to be their reunion scene, you know what I mean? But it could be, who knows? And then we have this shot of the poster they released for the third season. Of course, we're talking about the trailer of the second season, but they already have a poster teasing the third season because the third season has been greenlit. Not a big fan of the back-to-back-to-back seasons, especially with Daryl Dixon. It feels like they're going for quantity rather than quality. But it's cool that we have a third season. I just hope that this story is good. The story for the first season wasn't good. Let's be honest. I hope the second season is better, and of course, I hope the third season is even better. And of course, it's going to be in Spain. I'm not a huge fan of them going from France to Spain unless there's a reason behind it. I hope that they're not just traveling around Europe for the sake of traveling around Europe. I hope there's a real reason why they're there, and there's a real reason why they're not just going back to America like they should. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through in this video. I am interested to know your thoughts and opinions, so share that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.